The Bitcoin Group, the American original. For over the last 10 seconds, the sharpest Satoshis, the best Bitcoins, the hardest cryptocurrency talk. We'd like to welcome our panelists, Aaron Van Weerdum from Bitcoin Magazine.
Hello.
Kyle Torpy from kyletorpy.com.
Hey, what's going on, everyone?
Tone Vase from Liberty Life Trail.
Hey everyone, back in the US from Canada, over in Lake George.
And I'm Thomas Hunt from the World Crypto Network. Moving on to issue 1. Issue 1, Alphabay Takedown. A massive law enforcement operation spanning 3 countries has shut down the legendary dark market known as Alphabay. Accessible only via Tor, at its height, Alphabay served more than 300,000 listings, more than 20 times the size of the Silk Road, with a daily volume of more than $800,000. The United States and Canada both attempted extradition for one of the alleged administrators, Alexander Causes, but he was found hanged in his Bangkok jail cell in an apparent suicide. Aaron Van Weerdum, have we seen the end of dark market activities on the interwebs? Is the government's long nightmare over?
Absolutely, yeah. This was it. Show's over. No one's gonna take any drugs anymore at all. All of the heroin addicts done. This was it.
It's about
Obviously
time.
not.
That's all we had to do. It's over.
Clear-cut case. That was everyone go home. Yeah, no, it's it's just a drug war all over again. Game we've seen for decades. Now it's moved online. They bust one guy. There's nothing's gonna change. It's just gonna be new, unless people literally stop taking drugs, which is not gonna happen, or unless people don't want to buy it online anymore, which is not gonna happen. It's just gonna continue. Nothing will change. Law enforcement agencies will have a job. Drug dealers will have a job. No one wins.
It seems like they tried to shut down Amazon.com. A new one's just going to pop up in another country. People like buying stuff online. They're not going to stop. Good stuff. Let's go.
They're obviously not going to stop. They're probably going to get better at it. They're going to be, they're going to learn from the lessons that needed to be learned. I assume. That's it. That's all. There's no change. It's just going to be another big drug market.
It's so pointless. It's got to be frustrating for the investigators. They do all their work. They get their man. They bring it down. Nothing changes.
I mean, maybe it's frustrating for them in a way, but on the other hand, this is how they make their money. On to the next. They still got a job. They get a pat on the shoulder, maybe a raise if they're lucky, and I mean, in general, I'm all for ending the drug war. That's my position, because you're not gonna stop this at all, and just same story online. Not gonna stop at all.
They're just pushing that rock back up that hill.
If anything, the badder criminals are gonna take over, and it's just gonna be a worse situation for everyone. That's it.
Let's go to Kyle Torpy. Will the next dark market be harder to stop?
Yeah, I definitely agree with Aaron when he's talking about the markets are just going to get more advanced and it's not going to stop. There's 2 marketplaces I saw. There's an article that Deep.web put up where they went through all the other popular markets now besides Alphabay. And it seems that there's one called Hansa Market and there's another one called Dream Marketplace. And it seems they're both like equally as popular outside of Alphabay. So I think a lot of people are going to just switch over to those 2. And the thing about Hansa Market is that it requires all of their users to use multi-sig. So they're trying to set up a situation where they can't exit scam. And this is something that me and Tone talked a little bit about last week, where he was talking about you don't really need OpenBazaar or something like that. And this kind of goes to his point where you can just set up like a multi-sig centralized marketplace and have people use that. And I mean, there's still instances where they can take money. When you first, because I was looking into it a few days ago, when you first make a deposit on their site, it goes to like a wallet controlled by them, and then from there it goes to a 2 of 2 with the buyer and the seller. So there's still that like intermediary territory where they could do something, but it's kind of like Shapeshift, where they can only steal the amount that's being traded at that time. And I guess everyone kind of thought that Alphabay was Russian, but I guess we found out that that was not the case, which I thought was interesting.
It's interesting to see they try a 2 of 2 escrow. I know OpenBazaar uses a 2 of 3, right, with a third party. It's kind of an anonymous escrow or something.
They do 2 of 2 by default. I think just because it's easier for people who aren't used to multi-sigs, because I think a lot of other sites have multi-sig integration, but no one uses it because it's like confusing and they don't understand it, or they just don't want to use it. But they also have a 2 of 3 option if the buyer wants to use that, but it's optional.
It's interesting. Each time one of these huge dark markets go down, we have a mini lesson on how to deal with one of your competitors suddenly going out of business. There's a rush of business to the other sites. We've even seen some sites that just shut down. Like when the Silk Road went down, there was another Silk Road type site that just gave up. They're like, there's going to be too much traffic. We're getting overloaded. Our database is getting slammed. We don't know how to handle this. And we're out. It's an interesting lesson for dark marketeers. We've got around 212 live viewers. If everyone could give us a thumbs up and a share, that helps more people find the show. And now, Tone Vase, your thoughts on Alphabay?
Yeah, that was, I think a few weeks ago when they went down and they came back, and I said, oh, it looks like they might be, good for a little while. Clearly, I was wrong.
That was just last week.
So, and it's funny is how Kyle now mentions how I brought up maybe there is no use case for OpenBazaar. You know what? Maybe there is a use case for OpenBazaar, right? Maybe people will go to OpenBazaar for security. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that. It is probably complicated. The competitors are definitely getting a lot of, the competitors are starting to get overwhelmed. And look, they'll get back. They'll find the way to fix the mistakes. I mean, this isn't really going anywhere. Just a couple of comments. Like, I would question that suicide. That, I don't know. Like, I think if a more thorough investigation on that suicide gets done, I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, you already have a precedent with Ross Ulbricht going away for life. But, like, I don't know. It's just, to me, it feels like whoever that wasn't the main guy, even though he was making, tens of millions of dollars. And there's always a bigger fish, and that bigger fish might not have wanted to be identified. And when you're in a third country and you get arrested and you're in one of those prisons, probably doesn't take much to get something fixed. So I would, I wouldn't be doing that investigation. I don't know if the authorities will, but I would kind of question that. Like, there's really not much else to say. I mean, the space has dealt with this before. It'll deal with it again. Another major site is going to rise to the top, and they're going to take over most of the volume. I mean, this just reminds me of the Napster and the music downloads. I remember, like, after Napster went down, it was a disaster. I was using Kazaa for a while. Oh, I heard people were using Kazaa for a while, and then LimeWire and BearShare. It was, it was a free-for-all. There was nothing good until Torrent came out. So maybe someone will come up with a really good system that you just can't shut down. And we're just going to watch it happen. But, Bitcoin price may or may not be related to this. People are, there isn't as much demand right now. People are trying to, create accounts on other websites. It's going to be interesting. But I just hope that Bitcoin speculation and, like, the Bitcoin economy has finally grown to be strong enough not like to survive with the elimination of Bitcoin being used for these dark web markets. I don't think we're there yet. I still think we need an Alphabay to keep Bitcoin demand up. But it would be a very interesting test for Bitcoin if there isn't like another site that comes to this kind of volume that Alphabay had. But I think something else will take its place soon.
It's also impressive to see Bitcoin maintain its price after the takedown of Alphabay. I don't know if anyone recalls, but after the Dread Pirate Roberts, or alleged Dread Pirate Roberts, went down, the price of Bitcoin went from maybe 900 to 300. It was an incredible collapse, and it was a crazy day. I think it went right back up the next day. But the price has been strong. And Tone, that's an interesting theory that it could have been other members of the team covering up their work. I had just gone more towards a Chinese government that hates it when you deal drugs inside their country and is kind of personally offended.
Well, one last thing on the price. I remember the Silk Road closure. It happened October 1st. The price was around 110, 115. Within the next 24 to 48 hours, the price fell from about 115 all the way down to $85. It then recovered all the way back to 110, 115 within like 48 to 36 hours. And within a week, we were at new highs above 125. And then it just took off in October and November to 1200.
It was the craziest time, and maybe it'll be the craziest time again. Let's move on to the exit question. Exit question: will the takedown and fatal ending for Alphabay serve as a message to other potential dark marketeers? Will they stop before they start? Aaron von Weerden.
There's wide open markets jump into that sense. Also, another thing, I don't know, am I breaking the format of the show if I bring up another topic?
No, go ahead. What do you have?
So is there any idea like how they have been caught? Does anyone know anything about this? I do know like a couple of days or recently they started accepting Zero Cash, I think, or Zero Coin, whatever it's called. And Poloniex had problems with that. Like, could that be, does anyone keep up with this stuff? Because I don't really.
The thing with Poloniex, someone mentioned that to me yesterday, but I don't think that was related because Poloniex was having trouble with like a bunch of different coins. It wasn't just Zcash.
I don't think there's been any official information leaked about how they were caught, if they made a mistake, had an inside man. Usually it's something like that. Someone
sent me a report about an exploit that was someone disclosed to Alphabay or something like that, but I haven't looked at it yet. So it could be that too, but I haven't looked into the details of it. So maybe they got hacked. I don't really know. I'll have to read through the report someone sent me.
Not sure if I ever bought it, but they said the Silk Road had some kind of misconfiguration in their settings that was leaking their IP address. No idea if that's happened again.
Yeah, it was like the CAPTCHA setting was on the ClearNet or something. I don't think they ever really explained it.
It was very strange. They had that, and then they had the old information, and we weren't sure if it was that or maybe the NSA's listening program that brought that one down. This one, we have no idea. As Trump is fond of saying, they listen to us on our televisions now. So let's see. Aaron, did you have more on the exit question? Will they stop? Is this going to teach people not to do this in the future?
No, no way.
Kyle Torpy, also a short answer.
Yeah, it's not going to stop. I mean, Hansa Market had to turn off registrations because they're already getting so many people that want to sign up. And one thing I want to kind of think about, I haven't looked at the correlation yet, but when the mempool, like the number of transactions on the networks dropped, I can't remember if that was around the same time as Alphabay was stopped working. So maybe
I've seen a tweet that correlated the time. It said when they officially went down, when they first went down, everyone was worried. That's when the spam attacks stopped. So we have no idea if they're connected or other ideas.
Yeah, we might be able to track like the growth of this Hansa Market just from, because they use 2 of 2 multisig, and I don't think there's that many 2 of 2 multisig use case. I'm not really sure, but that also seems like it would be bad for OPSEC if like they can just look at all the 2 of 2 addresses and be like, oh, that's a Hansa Market darknet market transaction. So
Don't tell BitGo. I think they have a patent on multi-sig. Let's go to Tone Vase.
I hope they don't have a patent on multi-sig. That would just be screwed up.
They tried to get one years ago, but everyone was very upset. So,
yeah, no shit. All right, so I actually think it'll be the reverse. I mean, when people read the details of the guy that actually, you know, died in prison in Thailand, I mean, I've read or I've been told somewhere he had like literally like $10 million. He had like 4 Lamborghinis. Like he was living the life. I think if anything, this just shows you that if you have a little more OPSEC and everyone thinks they have just a little more OPSEC, they can be like the Ross Ulbricht that doesn't get caught. They could be this guy that doesn't get caught. I think once they look into his lifestyle, I think this will only like fuel more people wanting to be the guy that doesn't get caught.
It is worth noting that Ross Ulbricht, though he was taken down by an act that was designed to stop drug cartels, that he had no Lamborghinis. He shared an apartment in San Francisco and he used Wi-Fi at the coffee shop and the library. Let's move on to issue 2. Issue 2, Bitcoin sign guy. As Federal Reserve Chairman Janet Yellen was speaking to the House Finance Services Committee on Wednesday, saying that she would oppose almost any attempt to audit the Federal Reserve, something interesting happened. Almost perfectly placed behind her right shoulder, a sign appeared telling people to buy Bitcoin. Thus, Bitcoin sign guy drove news all over the world and maybe even caused the price of Bitcoin to go up, as a frenzied group of traders did exactly what the sign said. They bought Bitcoin. Kyle Torpy, is the Bitcoin sign guy an important moment in Bitcoin history? Or, because he received $15,000, will this kick off a swarm of aggressive and annoying copycats?
Yeah, I thought this was obviously really cool because it kind of got back to why everyone got interested in Bitcoin in the first place. It felt like kind of like the early days. Like someone posted someone doing something like this on Reddit. Like it reminded me of like the guy on College Game Day that put up the sign that said, "Hey mom, send Bitcoin" or whatever, and he got like $25,000 or something.
Dude, you just you took my answer. It was the Auburn game. I was gonna talk about that.
Oh yeah, I don't remember much from it, so you can take the rest. But yeah, it just felt like it felt like 2012, 2013 kind of like a lot of Bitcoin hype going on, and someone does something like pulls this kind of stunt on TV, and all the Bitcoiners get really excited about it. It's kind of a break from like all the scaling debate stuff that's been going on. Like this is something everyone could get behind because it's why everyone got interested in Bitcoin in the first place. So it just kind of reminded me of the earlier days and trying to replace the central banks and all that kind of stuff. And it was perfect that she was talking about how she didn't want the Federal Reserve to get audited, as he put it up. That was just like so perfect. Like if Bitcoin does blow up and become like a global reserve currency, then that will be like an iconic picture probably.
It could be a picture in textbooks to come. And it's a good point, Kyle. It gets us back to our roots of opposing the Federal Reserve, something I think we could all agree on. Let's go to Toned Vase.
Yeah, that's exactly what it reminded me of. And actually, like when people sent me that video, like I'm watching that video and like I didn't even believe it. It looked like, you know, like a fake video. I had to actually Google multiple times, like, did this really happen at the Federal Reserve meeting?
Well,
Because,
and the kid's so good too with his suit and his pink tie. He's just dressed to the nines.
Like it's just like it didn't look real at all. To me, it didn't look real. And how did he get that seat? Like who is he? Like I haven't had time to look into his background.
I want to say that he's an aide to a congressperson or someone involved in the DC
not
life.
Anymore.
But, yeah, they dragged him out. I probably lost his job. Yeah, I imagine.
I mean, look, that's one way. That's an awesome way to go out. Look, it's really, really cool, but it's exactly like the guy with the College Game Day, you know, holding up a sign that said, "Mom, please send Bitcoin," with the QR code. He ended up getting like 20-something thousand that he ended up donating to Sean's Outpost. But it reminds me of that. I mean, I don't think there's going to be all that much about it. I think everyone just wants to up it, up it, up and up it. Like there'll be like a bigger event. Maybe there'll be is going to try to beat him. Maybe like hold up a sign, you know, like during a Trump speech or something. Like I think someone is going to want to up that. I think in about 6 months, we're going to move on and no one will barely remember it. For the short term, however, I strongly believe that this did bump the price. It created a huge buzz in the space. Those with trading accounts, you know, bought up Bitcoin on the news. But this also goes to show you that no matter what the news, you can't change the overall trend. And the overall trend has been bearish for a few weeks now. And no matter how cool or good the news, it can bump the price against the trend for, you know, 12 to 36 hours. But the ultimate trend wins. And we are back to new lows. And the user active, everyone got a nice distraction for 24 hours. And now it's back to, you know, the user activated soft fork, real shit going on. So,
well, maybe it's not over yet. Aaron Von Weirdem, are you going to be standing outside of some sports stadiums later in the day?
Don't wait for it. No, what can I add? I agree with both Kyle and Tone. The screenshot. If you see the screenshot with the capture of, it's a work of art. It's like the timing was amazingly brilliant. It's too funny. And not only the capture, also his smile for me. He has this smile. It's almost like he's saying, "I told you so." Like I've been telling you, gotta buy Bitcoin. There he is with his sign. So that's and it's getting meme-ified as well, which is great. I don't know if you guys seen the one with Fluffy Pony. That was so funny. Like you've got the same sort of GIF going on, and then you've got Fluffy Pony who holds up his sign which says, "Don't buy Monero."
I've seen one with Vitalik where he says "buy ETH." So
when did Fluffy put up a sign that says "Don't buy Monero"?
Well, they're editing the original and making a meme out of it. So
I think Big Lambda on Twitter was making a bunch of them.
I probably ruined the joke for those who haven't seen it. Sorry about that. It was funny.
I will add one more thing. Look, what I'm really happy about is I'm getting an echo. You might want to mute, Aaron. So what I am really happy about is the fact that this guy didn't hold up a sign that said like, you know, buy Ethereum or like, you know, buy Dash or buy some other scam, right? Like the fact that it was Bitcoin is what's important, because one of these days some moron owed up on some scam coin we never heard of, and then he's gonna pull this kind of a stunt just for himself to get rich on that scam coin that has very little liquidity and no use at all. So I'm just happy that it was Bitcoin on that sign and not some garbage.
Yeah, we saw that with Potcoin and Dennis Rodman, right? When he went to he did that new North Korea trip.
Exactly. And then Potcoin is a complete scam.
And Potcoin did go up in value after Dennis Rodman was spotted wearing their T-shirt. Let's move on to the exit question. What would be better than a sign behind the Federal Reserve? Where should the next sign be? Kyle Torpy.
I liked Tone's idea, the Trump rally. I can't think of a better place. But yeah, and then also after I tweeted out that picture yesterday, I also had like 10 or 20 people ask me if it was real, like on Twitter, and contact me directly because they didn't believe it. They thought it was photoshopped. So then I had to go back in the video and like point it out to them.
It does look almost too good to be true. And when Aaron mentioned it was a work of art, I thought someone might actually take an oil painting and give us a beautiful painting of this. That's a good idea if you're an artist out there. Let's go to Tone Vase. Where should the next sign be? You sticking with Trump?
I'm trying to think if there is like a bigger venue. I mean, unless it's like the Super Bowl or something, but we already had, BitPay already tried doing commercials during the Super Bowl. That didn't really do it. Like it's the stage is getting bigger and bigger. I don't know, maybe one of these days some of the old school Bitcoiners become really rich, and then you're like sponsored the first shuttle to Mars or something, and then when the rocket takes off or the next trip to the moon, there's like a big Bitcoin logo on the actual rocket going to the moon. That would be cool.
All right, a rocket ship. Aaron, can you top a rocket ship?
I don't think you can top this one. This is it. Like behind Janet Yellen, like does it get better? I don't think so. This is it. This is perfect.
So it's a bit of a stretch, but it would be hard to top it. Maybe an Oscar winner. They get up there to make their speech and they just show a little sign that says "Buy Bitcoin." It would be an incredible sacrifice of their speech. No, it wouldn't be. It's not as powerful because it's not economic, right?
That should have happened first. Like there should have been a build-up. We should have first have these other things, and then like this was. I can't think of anything better.
Hey man, yeah, if you get the opportunity on a big stage, you take it, man. You don't drop one step down to build up to it. You just go for it. Hey, I would love to get in touch with this guy if you're watching. Hey, Google Tone Vase. It would be awesome to have you on this show or any other show.
It's also worth noting people could just hold up their phone wallet if they need a quick QR code. He might have gotten even more donations if he had a QR code instead of the actual address written out, which led to a lot of copycats changing it to their address and so on and so forth. But let's move on to the next issue. Issue 3. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we practice to deceive. The case of the India-based alleged Ponzi scheme Gain Bitcoin has just become infinitely more complex. And now, instead of just promising their unrealistic rewards for their cloud mining, they've also launched an initial coin offering. The ERC20 token, MCAP, raised more than $19 million at a crowd sale price of $5 a token. With the influx of new capital, the scheme has allegedly been able to repay their initial investors, creating a new link in the chain. Tone Vase, I ask you, was P.T. Barnum right that there's a sucker born every minute, leaving us stranded on a planet full of suckers? Or has Bitcoin, Ethereum, cloud mining, and multi-level marketed created a revolution in scams, returning us to a time before time, when everything old is new again, as the digital con man smiles on the face of a billion rubes?
Well, you know what? Maybe it just feels like, I don't know, some crazy journalist named Kyle Torpy is just going after the same guy multiple times in this Bitcoin magazine publication. I'm just kidding, Kyle. So this is clearly not the first time you've investigated this scammer out of India. And look, it does get annoying. And, this is the fine line. This is the line where, like, at which point do we become responsible for, like, getting these scammers, arrested or in jail? And I don't like anyone getting arrested and going to jail, but it's starting to get real crazy. And Ethereum is a scam designed, a platform designed to create more scams on top of it. So in a way, I hope this guy goes to the next level, and then everyone follows his lead. I mean, I'm fully expect by end of year, I'm expecting more ERC20 straight up scams than any kind of legit projects, because that's what Ethereum has built. They're not there for, there's like 1 or 2 legit ICOs on Ethereum. Everything else is an outright scam. And now they're getting bolder and bolder and bolder. And this guy is up there. And look, it's really interesting, to me at least, that this is what Ethereum wants to bring to the world. Now, all of these people think that they're liberating and everyone should be allowed to get scammed. But like it's getting tiresome. It's getting tiresome to me. And I'm sure people at like Uno Coin are very upset. They're trying to run a legit Bitcoin business out of India. Some other people are as well. And then you have these people with their cloud mining. One thing, the cloud mining, you know, non-scams, future Ponzi schemes like, you know, Genesis and BitClub, I don't think they're helping either. I think just because there is a couple of, you know, semi-legit cloud mining, it kind of opens the door for the straight up scams pretending to be cloud mining. It's really unfortunate. And I don't know, some people will bring this down like Bitcoin started all this, but not really. So yeah, let's see what Kyle and Aaron have to say about it. But that's just, you know, it's what we're going to deal with, and it's only going to get worse with this whole Ethereum ICO bullshit.
It's also worth noting the size of this operation. This is a front page ad from the Sunday Times. It's a full front page ad. And I do agree with you, Tone. It's as if people are climbing ladders without any safety regulations. And we're just saying, be careful up there, don't fall down. And they keep climbing higher and higher and higher, ignoring everyone.
Well, no, we're getting like, here, let me see if Kyle and Aaron, you guys have been in this space probably a little longer than me. You, Thomas, have as well. And I was just in Montreal, and I was like joking with people. It's like my friends that are probably not watching this show and never have. Like my friends, like my pre-Bitcoin friends that didn't listen to me in 2013 or 14 or 15 to buy Bitcoin are now contacting me, telling me how great Ethereum is. Like, that is now bothering me to no end. I don't know if anyone else on this panel is experiencing this phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm getting the same kind of thing. I get, like, obviously my friends are asking me, hey, I heard about this Ethereum thing. It's supposed to be better than Bitcoin. Should I buy it? And then I get also like people I barely know that I've like met once messaging me, like trying to contact me and try to get some recommendations from me too. Like people just coming out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to in like 5 or 6 years want to know if they should buy Ethereum.
Very strange. Let's go to Aaron. Are people asking you about Ethereum? What do you think about the gain Bitcoin situation in India?
I don't know much about the gain Bitcoin situation specifically, but I'll agree. There's something depressing about this idea that Bitcoin itself looks a lot like a scam, and I don't think it's a scam. But I mean, I don't think it's a scam at all. But it has a lot of sort of attributes of a Ponzi scheme like this. You know, if you get in early, you benefit a lot, and there are attributes that sort of have similarities to a scam. And what Bitcoin, which is not a scam, has done is it has sort of paved the way for all of these outright scams, basically, that are sort of following in its trail. And you know, you even see that sort of motivation or excuses, or you know, when you call it out as a scam, people will be like, yeah, that's what they said about Bitcoin. You know, that doesn't mean it's not actually a scam. Just because people thought Bitcoin was a scam, it can still be a scam. So you see that a lot in the whole space, and it's a bit depressing. It's for me kind of the like way more than the illegal use of Bitcoin. This is the real sort of dark side of Bitcoin, that people just get scammed, and all of these Bitcoin related altcoins, or now it's ICOs, and I'm not convinced that every ICO is a scam. I'm not necessarily convinced that scams or that ICOs are scam necessarily, but it's very clear to me that Bitcoin has paved this way, and it opened the door for a lot of scams, and scammers are very happy with that.
Let's go to Kyle Torpy.
Yeah. So, but Thomas said it is like does seem to be like a large scale Ponzi scheme that's going on in India. I've been trying to get some estimates from people over there because I have a few people there that keep sending me like the latest updates on what's going on with the scheme. And I'm trying to get some like estimates of whether it's like hundreds of thousands or millions or whatever. And now they're getting like they've bought out front page ads on two of the biggest newspapers in India to pump. Well, the ads were for Amit's new book, which is like the cryptocurrency for beginners or something like that, which makes sense because he's obviously just targeting people that have no idea what Bitcoin is. And when you buy the book, you get like a little bit of the MCAP token. So he's trying to like disperse the token that way. And yeah, like what Tone said, there's no one really, like I said last time I talked about the first article, no one really seems to care that much about this huge Ponzi scheme that's going on like in the Bitcoin community. Like no one's really paying attention to it, but like this kind of stuff affects regulation of Bitcoin in India. Like the regulators look at Bitcoin and they can just see like the biggest use case right now in India for Bitcoin is this Ponzi scheme that's like everyone that's stealing money from people.
And is there any way we can help relate people to it, Kyle? I know it has Bollywood celebrities. Could we imagine if this was like the cast of the Saved by the Bell and they're out selling us a cryptocurrency and they've got ads in the front page of the New York Times and this is happening everywhere, and instead of our friends asking about Ethereum, which say what you will, it's a legitimate technical project, they're trying to do something, to have something like OneCoin or perhaps this Gain Bitcoin similarly spread by people that we trust, right? I mean,
it is very similar to OneCoin too. Like I watched the video that they put on their website, and it was like it showed like the gains of Bitcoin over the years, and then it showed the gains of Ethereum over the years, and then it says like an MCAP is expected to go to $100 by March of 2018 or something like that. So yeah, it'd be like some person that was like a big movie star 10 years ago, and they just tweeted out like, oh, I just read this new book by this guy who is a scammer and I have no idea he's a scammer. And all the tweets look kind of the same. So it might have been, he might have just like paid them to tweet it out and they have no idea what the project is. I tried to get their attention on Twitter yesterday about it after someone reached out to me, but I haven't heard back. Let me see if I missed any. I'm just going over the article to see if there's anything else to mention here. It is kind of, I didn't realize this until like yesterday, the day before, but it is similar to what Josh Garza did with Paycoin, apparently. I didn't realize he just released Paycoin to keep the payouts going for Gall miners, like their cloud mining scheme. So it's like, he's really going through like the entire Bitcoin scammer playbook from over the years and taking all of the scams and putting them together into this huge, gigantic Ponzi scheme.
And presumably you could keep doing this with other countries, not just India. You could pick up this playbook, drop it in a new country, and run it until there's regulation, until someone wakes up, right?
Yeah. I don't think let me see if there's anything else in the article worth mentioning. Oh yeah, he bought press releases and like news BTC and crypto coins news too. But that's kind of things expected.
Yeah, Kyle, but this is no different than the Dash playbook, right? I mean, like you have someone like Evan that pre-mined a bunch of Dash for himself, and now he's able to pay, for sponsorships and sponsor conferences and pay Amanda to make videos. Well, like it's the same playbook, you print a bunch of your own money, and then you're using that money to, buy people and influence. And eventually it fails, but no one knows when it's actually going to fail. It's going to keep going.
Yeah, and the $19 million thing that you mentioned before, that's what they claim they raised. So I don't think we really know how many tokens they sold. They made 100 million of them, I think. So they're kind of just like saying we raised this much, so that's the valuation of the coin. And I think it kind of worked.
It's also worth reminding people that there's no regulations on these ICOs. So if you gave me $1 million, I could take that million, take it out, reinvest it in my own ICO. Now I have 2 million, out again, 3 million, 4 million, and I don't even need $1 million. I could do that with $1. If there's no regulation, I can do whatever I want.
And it's even worse than that, right? Because this is in India for people in India, right? So this doesn't even like touch U.S. citizens, where like someone can at least complain to the SEC that has global jurisdiction. But in this case, I don't think any American was stupid enough to buy into it. So they can't like play the cross-border card to get like a jurisdiction with some teeth. after something like this.
Well, it's not just that. A lot of people just don't even want to talk about it in India for fear of retribution. Like I get a lot of people that send me information, but none of them want to, I can't like quote many people on it.
Right.
And they're all, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, and on top of that, I mean, if you are invested in this thing, I mean, your goal is to get your money back, right? And God forbid you got some friends or family into it, and now you're responsible. So you have absolutely zero motivation in order to bring this scam down. It's like, even if some major investor, like when the New York Mets, I think, lost a lot of money in Bernie Madoff's hedge funds. And if the New York Mets baseball team found out like 3-4 years earlier that they're in a Ponzi scheme, it's to their advantage to just stay quiet and delay it for 3 years, right? Because that guy may not be employed there anymore. Well, like, why do you want to fess up that you're going to lose millions of dollars if the Ponzi keeps going? Like, you just want to delay it as much as possible.
I don't think the Mets have any problem losing millions of dollars. They just do it on their contracts. Let's go to Kyle.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a story about a bunch of the OneCoin guys getting caught in India this week too. And they were caught, like apparently they had gained like $11 million or something like that through a OneCoin. I don't know if it was like the head of OneCoin or just like a smaller subsidiary or something. But the police did say it was a scheme where, like what Tone was saying, the victims become the fraudsters as well because they want to keep it going.
Too many scams, not enough time. Let's move on to the exit question. When will it end? When will people stop investing in cryptocurrency scams? Give me a time period. Tone Vase, 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years? Going to Tone Vase, who's still muted. Can you hear us, Tone?
I'm having a bit of a data breakup. Can you guys, hope you guys can hear me okay. I think the question was, how long is this going to go on? 6 weeks, 6 months, or 6 years? I'm probably going to go between 6 months and 6 years, but definitely closer to 6 months. So I'm thinking more like, 9 to 18 months.
Aaron Van Weerdem, when will people wake up to these scams? Go ahead, you're muted.
Yeah, never. They're not gonna ever wake up to these scams, but I am hopeful that it will decrease in size over time. Over time, people are hopefully gonna learn. As you mentioned earlier, there's a new sucker born every day, so it's gonna continue forever, but hopefully it's gonna decrease over time.
Only education and perhaps some painful losses can help this. Kyle Torpy, how much longer will it go on?
Yeah, like Tone and Aaron said, it'd probably be forever. What we might see is some of the new layer 2 technologies that can where you can like sort of make a deposit, but you still have control of your funds. Or like we're seeing with Hansa Market, where they use multi-sig instead of just trusting Hansa Market, some anonymous person somewhere with millions of dollars, which is how the darknet markets have worked up to this point. So maybe when you're able to choose an organization that you don't have to trust instead of giving some guy your money, maybe when that option's available, it'll decrease a little bit.
It's worth knowing one of the features of Bitcoin is that once you send your money, it's gone. But that's also one of the downsides of Bitcoin, that once you send your money, it's gone. We've got about 503 viewers. Thanks to everyone for giving us a thumbs up and a share. That really helps people find the show. I can't wait to look at the chat later on to see how much it's scrolling. Let's move on to issue 4, the struggle for the heart of Bitcoin. Original Bitcoiner Amir Taaki recently gave an interview on the Tatiana Show where he discussed his thoughts on the Bitcoin scaling debate. For Taaki, it comes down to issues of trust, because he is familiar with the individuals involved. Taaki sides with Bitcoin core developers like Peter Todd over others such as Gavin Anderson and Roger Ver. Taaki worries about the idea that Bitcoin could simply fire the core developers and move on without Bitcoin's values. Aaron Van Weerdem, I ask you, does Bitcoin need its philosophy going forward, or is it time to leave the past behind?
I think it needs its philosophy, not for philosophy's sake, but I think that's also, there's a market need for that. There's a market need for censorship resistant, bearer cash. There's a market demand for the very thing guys like Amir, Taaki, and Peter Todd stand for. So regardless of my personal hopes or dreams, I just think that's a Bitcoin or the Bitcoin that will, people are gonna want to store their value in, or they're gonna, if you have a Bitcoin where a group of companies or people can come together to change the rules, is that really a safe store of value? I don't think so. I don't think, there may be speculative value, there may be user value for, the getting value from A to B and moving in or out of that. But if you're really interested in storing your value in a, trustworthy Bitcoin that can't be changed like that, I think there's going to be huge market demand for that. I think probably the most market demand. So, yeah, Bitcoin needs its philosophy for that reason alone.
Kyle Torpy, do you agree?
Yeah, I agree with what Aaron was saying. I had an op-ed in Bitcoin Magazine this week called Why SegWit 2x Makes No Sense, where I talked about how basically Bitcoin needs the base layer to be as decentralized and censorship resistant as possible. And then you can build these more trusted centralized systems on top of it. So these businesses can try to hard fork to 2 megabytes in November or October or November, whenever it's supposed to be. But we could also just have everyone on the same network and not have a split if we had the base layer for digital cash, the cypherpunks, and then you have this other layer, whether it's Lightning, a federated sidechain, a drive chain. There's a lot of options where you can, and even Tumblebit too, where you can have a semi more trusted system that's really still very almost trustless, and all the big companies can use this for micropayments and stuff like that. You don't need what Bitcoin provides to buy coffee at Starbucks, really. You can build Starbucks payments on another layer, basically. And you can't do it the other way around. You can't have the base layer be a more centralized system and then try to build decentralization on top of that. It doesn't work like that.
Tone Vase, your thoughts on the struggle for the heart of Bitcoin?
Yeah, that was a really good article, by the way, Kyle. And oh man, I was gonna read one part from it, but I don't think I have the article open. There was just one part that Amir Taaki said. Let me see if I can get it real quick on my cell phone where you quoted him. That was really, really good. Hold on a second. Okay, here we go. So let me just read something that Kyle, you quoted from Amir. It says, and this is Amir talking. I was involved in Bitcoin since the very beginning, so I interacted with a lot of the different people. I know that I know what their personalities are, what their personal motivations are. I kind of think that most of the guys who are on that side have a pure intent, which is an intent for Bitcoin, not for their own personal gain, not to elevate themselves. A lot of them even existed in the shadows or even had the chance to gain power at different points, but didn't really fight to take power over Bitcoin. That was really, really good stuff. I really respect Amir Taaki, and this is what it boils down to. Almost everyone that I respect in the space is on the side of core development, is on the side of Blockstream, is on the side of SegWit. And they are against this push for bigger blocks. They are against this SegWit 2x nonsense. And if you are on the big blocker side,
Oh, we seem to have a technical difficulties. Tone, are you with us? He was cut off just as he was getting to the meat of his argument. We'll see if Tone rejoins us. We'll go back to him. But for now, let's move on to the exit question. Which date is more important for Bitcoin? the July 21st signaling for SegWit 2x, or the November-based hard fork to 2x? Let's go, Kyle Torpy.
Oh, hey guys, sorry, I'm back. It should be much better now. I somehow managed. I somehow managed to lose my internet switched to a completely less bandwidth internet. So now I should be back. I don't even know how that happened.
All right, you were telling us about the big blockers, and then you got cut off.
All right, so did you guys hear the quote that I said? I know you put it on the screen, Thomas.
Yeah, you played the quote good, and then you went on to
Okay.
talk about the big blockers, and I don't know.
Okay, yeah, no, now I'm good. Now I'm back to good bandwidth here. So, look, I respect Amir Taaki. In fact, like all of the people that are on the side of Blockstream, that are on the side of core devs, these are the people that I respect. I respected them before this whole debate happened, and I respect them now. But anyone on the other side of this debate, I have completely lost respect for almost all of them. All of them. Like, and there's no coming back from that. It's just like, I don't understand what they're doing. And I guess in our closing statements and our predictions, I'm going to talk about the price and how this whole mess has been affecting price. But it should be like so obvious what the right solution is, and it should be so obvious who the right people in the development of Bitcoin you need to trust. And like, it just baffles me that people want to hand over their trust to Jeff Garza, to Gavin Andresen, people that were literally kicked out of core for, my best guess is a combination of being incompetent and not having the right idea of what Bitcoin is, and wants to make it into a new Visa as opposed to something that can actually change the world. I mean, Amir Taaki says it better than I ever can. I'm looking forward to meeting him in Prague. Hopefully he'll come to that conference. We're both on the speaker list in October.
It's also worth saying that PayPal, when it was founded, had similar revolutionary ideas. They wanted to create money for the internet. They were very exciting in the beginning, and then it just kind of became currency that you spend on eBay. It never really became what we dreamed PayPal would be. Let's go back to the exit question. What's more important?
And
July
meanwhile,
21st, huh?
And meanwhile, PayPal exists, right? Like,
Yep.
it exists. It works pretty well.
Hey, Aaron, it doesn't just exist. The amount of money held in PayPal is actually bigger than any single bank by savings deposits.
Yeah, well, my point was going to be, is there really that much room in the market for another PayPal? I'm not so sure.
PayPal does own Venmo, which is the closest competitor to PayPal.
There you go.
But let's go to the exit question. What's more important, July 21st signaling or the November hard fork? Let's go to Aaron. Go ahead.
I don't know about the July 21st. Are you hearing me, or am I muted? I'm good, right? Yeah.
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I'm not sure about 21st, but August 1st. That's gotta be an important date for reasons I don't think I have to explain in this show.
Let's go to Kyle. Sorry.
That's gonna be a key moment. I think the hard fork itself, that's so far away. That's like 3 months after that in Bitcoin time. That's ages, and so much can happen. For me personally, it's not even really on my mind. We'll get there when we get there.
All right, let's go to Kyle Torpy. What's the most important date for you?
I think it seems like we'll get SegWit before August 1st. I think the more controversial date will be the hard fork, and I agree with Aaron. It's too early to figure out what's going to happen with that, especially since I think we'll see how much support the hard fork actually has after SegWit activates. We might see some people decide they just kind of wanted SegWit, but maybe that's just speculation. But Aaron has a good article in Bitcoin Magazine where he goes through all the timelines for SegWit 2x and BIP 148 and all that everyone should read. And one last thing, that Amir Taaki article from today, it was all based on his appearances on the Crypto Show and the Tatiana Show. So if you just search for those episodes, you should definitely listen to the entire show with his interviews.
It's definitely worth checking out. It's always good to hear from Amir. Let's go to Tone Vase. Tone, are you with us? You're still muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm still getting used to like Windows 10. Hold on, let me just open one thing and then I want to share screen. Shoot, all right, open. Here we go. And now let me share screen real quick. Yeah, hey, so I think Aaron, I think this is your chart from Bitcoin Magazine.
I didn't actually make the chart, but it's from my article, yeah.
From your article, yeah. So I kind of took your article and I added a date to it, and then I wrote my article. So to me, there are two critical dates on this chart. It's August 1st, BIP 148, and then it's August 11th, which is the date that I wrote about in Cointelegraph 3 years ago, back in August of 2014. So these are my two most important dates. I think SegWit 2x is dead on arrival. I could be wrong, but to me, the critical dates are these. Like that to me is a critical date, and then August 11th, because I think the market price is also telling us that contention is coming for August 1st. If segregated witness was a shoo-in before August 1st, no way in hell would the price be dropping to 2150. The market is telling us that there's no way that the clown show, sometimes referred to as SegWit 2x, is actually going to do anything. All right?
Can I weigh in real quick?
Sure.
So I'm not a price guy at all. Like, I don't normally care about the price. But today's drop, to me, seems to seem very related to the new difficulty period starting and miners not signaling for SegWit. It could be unrelated, sure. I don't know. I'm not a price guy, but for me, it seemed like that coincided pretty closely.
Right. But Aaron, if you're saying that miners not signaling for SegWit, then that adds to my view of SegWit 2x is not happening. SegWit 2x will not get a SegWit before August 1st, and we will have a chain split coming August 1st. Now, the shorter the chain split is, the better. And the August 11th date that I talked about 3 years ago, I'm assuming, hopefully, will get everything resolved by August 11th, and the chain split will resolve into one SegWit chain. I don't even think about the hard fork. Like, if SegWit 2x never activates SegWit, how in the world is this going to matter? The only way SegWit 2x hard fork is going to have any teeth is if SegWit 2x is instrumental in saving Bitcoin from a chain split. If SegWit 2x never even gives a SegWit, then what? Like, who's going to take this seriously? And even if SegWit 2x does activate SegWit, no one is still going to take this seriously. There's not going to be a hard fork in October, November, December, or any other time. It will be an altcoin that will immediately die.
Let's go to Kyle Torpy for your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I don't think the chain split will happen on August 1st, so I'm going to disagree. I don't think anyone, the miners, the developers, the businesses, the users, I don't think anyone has an incentive to see a chain split. I know more people are saying like, oh, a chain split would be good and everything like that, but there's a huge difference between what people say they want and what kind of code they'll actually run on the network. And it's possible that there's a theory out there that BIP 148 is what led to SegWit 2x, and it kind of pushed everyone to just like go forward with that. And if you look at the two proposals, the common denominator is SegWit, so it's something that everyone is willing to run on the network one way or another.
Hey Kyle, let me just jump back in here real quick. I am almost 100% certain that BIP 148 is what led to SegWit 2x. In my mind, that's not really a theory. That's actually, yeah, that's pretty much in the books. And and you're right, a chain split is not a good thing. I don't want the chain split, but I believe that it's going to happen. Now, the shorter the chain split is, the better. And I believe that once the chain split happens on August 1st, I think within 48 hours, there will be 20 to 25% hashing power on the BIP148 chain. Like it's gonna, you'd be surprised how many miners are playing possum. There is absolutely no reason for any miners to show their hand and admit that they're gonna mine the SegWit, the user-activated soft fork side of the chain, because that's competition. They want every other miner thinking that no one is gonna mine that side of the chain, so that when they throw their 2 or 3% hashing power onto it, they have a better chance at finding the first block or two. So it's complete game theory on the miners. And like, for example, if F2 Pool and Bitfury, if they're sitting there saying they're supporting the legacy chain, but as of August 1st, they now start mining the user-activated soft fork, which I personally believe they will, along with all of the private miners. Like, I'm eventually going to set up my miner before August 1st. Other people that I know of, like, a lot of people are just not, they may be signaling for SegWit, but they haven't shown their intention yet as to which side of the chain split they're going to go at. And I think that on August 1st, the user-activated soft fork side of the chain is going to get so much hashing power, everyone is going to be caught by surprise, and I'm going to be on this show saying, I told you so. That's what I'm looking forward to.
All right, a bold prediction by Tone Vase. And I think we're going to move on to predictions or story of the week. Aaron Van Weerden, we didn't tell you about this part, but there's a part at the end where you have to either predict something or give us your story of the week. So here it is. You're on first. We could come back to you if you're not ready.
Yeah. What? I got predict anything?
Predict anything, or just tell us like what was the most important story of the week for you.
Get back to me.
All right, let's go to Kyle Torpy while Aaron's thinking.
Let me see. I'll pull up what I'm working on now so people know what to expect next week. I sent BitPay CEO Stephen Pear a few questions about SegWit 2x and hard forks, because there were some people saying he like completely switched his mind after they took money from Bitmain. So I'll publish his responses to those questions early next week. I'm not sure where yet. Let's see. I'm not sure if there's really any. Oh yeah, I tried to reach out to Hansa Market to get a interview with them to ask some questions about their market and stuff like that. So maybe they haven't responded yet. So maybe I'll have something next week. And if you want to get all of my stories and stuff, go to kyletorpy.com and follow the newsletter, or just follow me on Twitter or however you want to follow.
Definitely subscribe to Kyle's newsletter. He's doing a daily Bitcoin newsletter, I think at kyletorpy.com, probably around there. Let's go to Tone Vase. He's got some charts.
All right, so I'm going to go with the price. This is scary. So this is the weekly candles, the weekly charts. The weekly charts, like I've been saying, people the entire week. On Monday, once the price went below 24.62 on Bitstamp, the long-term view was on a short trade. And I tweeted this out the moment, like the same day, that I said, you know what, Bitcoin is a short. Shorting Bitcoin is dangerous, but if that's what the chart is saying, then that's what I have to say. So the weekly chart looks very ugly and getting uglier. It's getting very bad. This is very reversible, by the way. All the miners have to do is start signaling for SegWit, start signaling for BIP141. It's too late. They already screwed up. It's too late to get 141 in, but all they have to do is say they're going to mine the user-activated soft fork BIP148, and all of this reverses. Go on.
They still got a day or so. Like, the deadline is now-ish. Like, if all miners started to signal...
That's not. Yeah, but that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. Right? So they already screwed up, right? Miners were given this golden opportunity to actually do something good for the community, to push in software safely, and they screwed it up. They turned it into a political voting system. They will never get that chance again. So if the miners care about the price of Bitcoin, they will signal their support for BIP 148. If the miners signal their support for BIP 148, this whole thing reverses within a matter of 24 hours. It'll be back above this green line, taking us out of bearish territory. But for now, we're going down. The good news is, on the daily chart has, well, the bad news is that it's broken another point of support right here. It broke support here and here. So now your next level of support is down here by the green line in the 1900 area. If the price of Bitcoin falls below 1900, I will be calling for a $1,200 Bitcoin, probably by August 1st, okay? This is what the stupid miners are giving us, okay, by doing what they're doing. Now, here's the good news. Bitcoin became a short trade on the daily chart right here on this 2. And today's an 8, and tomorrow is going to be a 9. So tomorrow's candle on the daily chart, it does suggest a potential bounce in the price of Bitcoin. But like I said this morning on Today in Bitcoin on this very network, that you had this nice day, this number 6 right here, this nice bullish day off of the guy on the Fed video, and then the trend went back on. One good day, one good piece of news is not going to change the trend. This trend is ugly. We're about to close at the lowest daily close since the all-time high. I am not bullish Bitcoin whatsoever. Tomorrow, when we get a 9, there might be some dead cat bounce for 1 to 4 candles, 1 to 4 days, and then we're probably going to resume the bearish trend. My perfect buy point is at 1200. Until we get to 1200, you will not hear me say the words perfect buy unless the miners actually get their shit together and start acting like they care about Bitcoin and just getting segued in there without a hard fork.
It's terrifying to see us fall below the purple. Thanks, Tone. Let's go to Aaron Von Weirdum. Do you have a story of the week or a prediction?
Yeah, so I figured out what I was gonna say during Kyle's bit, and then Tone stole my thunder. I'll just go ahead and agree with Tone. I think I'm not a price guy. I'm not a prediction guy. But as long as this uncertainty continues, as long as there's uncertainty about August 1st, SegWit locking in or not, in time or not, that's not going to be good for the price. I could see us dropping until that sorts itself out. Again, I'm not a price guy. I'm not a prediction guy. But you asked me to make a prediction. This is it.
More bad news. Next time I want to hear a positive prediction out of you. And my story of the week is that I got a new microphone arm here, so hopefully I have better sound. We're doing the whole Joe Rogan, Howard Stern thing where the microphone keeps getting closer and closer to my mouth. I'm dealing with that, something that's happening. And we also talked this week about trying to do more support for the show. As you can see on the World Crypto Network, we've been doing daily Bitcoin videos. If you like these videos and you want to subscribe with your credit card to our Patreon account, you can pay as little as $2 a month. It's $12 a year. Or if you'd just like to send Bitcoin, we have a Bitcoin address. You can always just pause the video, send a little Bitcoin if you like the show. As you can also notice, the ads are turned off on this network. And if you want to keep the ads off, you've got to send some donations so we can keep the lights on. But enough of that nonsense. We have about 576 live viewers. Thanks to everyone. Gave us a thumbs up and a like, and subscribe to the World Crypto Network down below. And until next time, we're out of time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.